It's go time. Good morning, y'all. The day has started. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. You can see this beautiful sunrise over here. It's about 35 degrees from what I've seen. I actually had a signal where I camped last night, so check the weather. It said it's about 35. It feels like it's about that temperature, but the wind kicked up in the middle of the night, so it definitely feels chillier than that. So glad to be moving now. It wasn't that bad. I mean, heck, after 10 degrees, what's 35 degrees with wind? But it's going to be a good day. Nice and clear, it looks like, at least for now. And it's supposed to get up in the 60s. So yesterday had a lot of wildlife seen. So see what happens today. Let the journey begin. I don't know if you can see the views of the valley here between the trees, but wow, is it gorgeous, because the sun is hitting just right, and then you have all the shadows where it's not hitting as well. It's so bright and beautiful with so much depth and those shadows. I hope you can see that like I do. I know you can't see it quite as well as I'm seeing it, but hopefully you can see it enough to appreciate the beauty of the way the sun is hitting that valley right now. We've come to a junction for the Allegheny Trail here. It's kind of cool. I don't know if you can read that. But it's a partnership between the U.S. Forest Service and West Virginia Scenic Trail. I'm right on the border right now, West Virginia and Virginia. I might actually be in West Virginia right now. I'm thinking I am, because this is a West Virginia trail, so I think I'm actually in West Virginia right now. I don't know how many miles this goes on. I do know I only do 4 miles of West Virginia on the Appalachian Trail. So I don't know if all 4 of those miles are here or if I do some later. Not really sure about that. I should really check that out, because I don't want to miss putting West Virginia in the bag when it happens. But this is pretty cool. Allegheny Trail, it's at least 315 miles, because that's how far it is from here to the northern terminus. I don't really know much about this one. I have to check that out sometime. But I'm going this way. The good old white blaze. That's a yellow blaze, by the way. And it's the first time I've seen a yellow blaze. Most of the side trails are blue blazes. Must just be because this is basically a through hike. So pretty cool. Never heard of it. Nice amount of water here. Didn't really pass too much water yesterday. This is the 3rd crossing of this little creek here, just in the last 1/10 of a mile. About 4 miles in today. Been a lot of descent from all the climbing yesterday. Have to go down once in a while, I guess, which is most likely why I hit more water. Water seems to be more down in this area. Not up on the ridges, of course. So, there was a gentleman who was camped not too far from me last night. Big old campsite. Probably could have got 10 or 15 tents in there. He was probably about 30 or 50 yards from where I was. We didn't really talk last night. Just basically, hey, how you doing? type of thing. So I didn't really talk or anything. But we caught up. I guess he caught up with me, I should say, while I was shooting some video of that side trail, the Allegheny Trail. And we got talking while we're hiking. Did most of those miles in a conversation. Gotta admit, sometimes that makes the trail go a little faster when you're talking. Unless it's one of those annoying conversations with someone. But it's pretty cool, man. We found out that we're from pretty much the same area where I've lived for 25 years. Not from out west, but from Florida, in the same county as me. It's pretty cool when you meet someone and you find out they know what you consider home. They know it well, and it's their home as well. So we had a lot to talk about. Also, he did the PCT in 2019, and doing the Appalachian Trail here. And I did the PCT last year, doing the Appalachian Trail this year. I just think I just said aspiration or something like that. Oh my goodness, the Appalachian Trail. So it's pretty cool. We had some things in common there, so it was a nice little conversation. Sure we'll see each other again. He stopped to get some water, and I was continuing on because I got that water last night that I still had over a liter of. So continuing on, and nice to run into somebody once in a while that you have some things in common with. See, I don't dislike all humans. I'm totally joking. I don't dislike humans at all. I love everybody. I just don't always like to talk to everybody. I like my privacy. I'll put it that way. I love my baby, though. I definitely love her. And I love to talk to her. Okay, I know. You're tired of hearing that. All right, back to hiking. Soggy. You know, this one is minor, just a little tiny creek, but you could see the force that it's running even though it's tiny. I don't know if you can see that back there. Little falls, little tiny falls. But there is a lot of rushing water around in this area right now. I mean loud. One is pretty wide. I don't think I have to cross that one, or if I do, I think it goes over on a bridge. But I did have to cross one earlier that I just couldn't find a way to do it on the rocks. Because there was, I mean, with staying dry, of course. So there was a lot of jagged rocks, and it was rushing pretty good and kind of bouncing up over the rocks that would make it decent steps. I could have stepped on one pointy rock and then stretched 3 or 4 feet for the other one. But that was just a little too much with, me trusting my balance and all, and it was rushing pretty good, and I seen where it led. That little creek led to a very heavy, the one I'm talking about that's pretty wide, like a river that's rushing like, I mean, it'd be a really good whitewater rafting river, I'll put it that way. There's another one. You can see it's real mild. This one has a bridge. real mild. But yeah, that one, I mean, it was mild. It was running pretty good and heavy, but it was pretty narrow. It just not narrow enough that I could step over, so I'd take the shoes and socks off and go over, and oh my goodness, was it cold. I might have been saying some superlatives as I was crossing, as a hiker walked up and heard me. I don't even know if superlatives is the right word. Let's just say fancy words. I was saying some fancy words, and a hiker walked up. Like, sorry dude, it's really freaking cold. That was the coldest water I've stepped in for sure. And it was hurting pretty much as soon as I got in, but I had to, the branches were just down weird, and you know, the rocks were weird, and then little drop-offs went almost knee-high. So I thought, you know what, I'm not even going to try to do this with my shoes over these slippery rocks. I'm just going to walk across and get over to one branch and move over to another branch and in between the rocks and try to stay the most narrow part I could. Virginia is a little rugged through this area. A lot of roots and stones, not rocks, but stones. So those little little stones that almost feel like marbles on the trail at times. It just took this weird 200-foot elevation turn. It's like it looked like there was a trail that was going straight, and then off to the left is where the Appalachian trail went. And going through all this murky mud here. I find that to be very slippery, so I tried to take that a little gingerly. Definitely don't want to fall face plant in mud. That would be for a disgusting day, but I think it would moisturize my skin and make my skin really nice. But anyway, going off to the left on this one part, it went straight up and then turned and went straight up again. Like, it was the quickest 200 feet I think I've ever done. It was pretty intense, but that wasn't the worst part. Then it went down the same way. Yes, for no reason whatsoever, went straight up and went straight down. Don't know why the trail is like that right there. I think there was other ways to do that, but I have my opinions. I think whoever maintains the trails and builds the trails heard all the people saying Virginia is flat. And they're like, oh, hold my beer. Virginia's not flat. Now, Virginia is flat compared to Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. Like, overall, you're not going up 3,000 or 4,000 and then dropping 3,000 or 4,000. And you're still going up. You're still having, well, when you're doing 20 and 30 mile days, you might be doing 5,000 instead of 6,500 in elevation. So it's flatter overall, not flat. Still mountains. Actually, really beautiful views from the mountains with the green pastures and meadows. But it's definitely flatter, but I'm here to tell you, it might not be as many steep hills. It might be more gradual at times, and most of the time it's more gradual. But I'm here to tell you, it definitely gets steep in Virginia at times. So, you heard it here. Probably not first, but you heard it here. And after, of course, of talking of how steep it could be in Virginia, now I get 2 miles of this. Irony is such a funny thing. Maybe I should have said that many miles ago, and it would have been like this the whole time. I love it when the terrain changes, though. This is very nice and cruisy, soft dirt with like some, I don't know, dirt pine needle stems on top for the traction. Just this is Supremo royalty type of terrain right here. This is what the kings and queens use. And fortune too. It's beautiful though. Warming up nicely today. Feeling good. And here is that big creek, river, whatever you want to call it, that I've been walking beside for 4-ish miles or so. Definitely had moments of whitewater rafting kind of rapids, much calmer here, but I still wouldn't want to cross it, that's for sure. So I'm glad I have this bridge to make life a lot easier. So it looks like I'm going to be walking away from that noise now. There was a couple times that I just wish I was away from it. If you haven't seen my videos from I almost said the PTSD, from the PCT, you might not know this, but I definitely have moments of PTSD, for lack of better terms, with that loud, crashing, violent, rapid sound. So many times on the PCT, I'd have to sleep at it at night. You know, I dreaded crossing them because they were pretty violent at times, and I knew one step would wash me down to who knows where. I'm not a great swimmer in the least bit, so definitely did not want that. Obviously survived. I made it across all of them, but there were definitely some scarier ones, like a couple that was like in Yosemite that was like right at the top of waterfalls, and for some reason the rocks were at the very edge of the waterfalls. So yeah, if you slipped, you're going down the waterfall, and we're talking really high waterfalls, like hundreds of feet at least. So just not really a fear anymore, per se. Just gives me stress. Gets my blood curdling a little bit when I hear in the background. And since I was walking near that for about 4 miles, it definitely was there. But I knew that I wasn't going to have to cross that one, at least. Like I said, some of the other branches coming into it, I had to cross. Only one of them I had to take my shoes off for, so it wasn't too bad. But as you can see, across the road, terrain has changed a little bit, getting away from that water at least. I'm sure there'll be more water up here, and the water on the AT I have found has not near as bad as some of those on the PCT, but I've also heard that once you get up into Maine that they do get a little rougher. So good thing I had all that practice last year, so I know how to be safe and I know what to do, and certain times I know that, you know, it's best to have somebody with you when you cross those, you know, just in case you do fall down and you need somebody to help you. But continuing on to this other side of the mountain, looks like I'm raising up here about 1,000 feet or so, and see what's next. Pretty steep little section here. Went up about 700 now since the road, and got about another 300 or 400 to go to where a shelter is, where I'll probably eat some lunch, and then just keeps going up for another 400 or 500, I believe, before it started going down again. It's very consistent and steep, not consistent and gradual. So again, it proves the point that Virginia is not flat. I'm trying to hold out till I get to the shelter to take this other layer off, put my bandana on, sweating and steaming up my glasses, and definitely sweating on this base layer, which I don't want to do. So I need to take that off. So it's a little cooler walking. It definitely warmed up good today. It's only still late morning. It's not even noon yet. So just going to keep pushing through to this hill. See there's some views up here eventually, because I know there's some good views up here. Just keep pushing on and conquering. This is the absolute nicest pit toilet I've ever seen on the trail. It's part of a shelter where I stopped to get some lunch. But wow, you get privacy, the door locks, it doesn't stink. I don't know how it doesn't stink. It's like royalty, I'm telling you, man. Sometimes you feel like you've arrived out here. So I went to the shelter, had some lunch, filled up on some calories, got some electrolyte in my water, and changed, got my base layer off on my shirt and changed, took my pants off. So I keep saying change, but it's already on underneath the layers. So now just the shorts and t-shirt, starting to warm up nicely. So that's the way to go, so I don't sweat as much on clothes, because it obviously gets cooler at night. But, and then I had my business meeting at the glorious Royalty Outhouse, and then a lady came in that was section hiking the other direction, and she was mentioning that there, as I was heading out, that there was some trail magic up here at the next road, which is like 3 or 4 miles. And I guess whoever it is serving up spaghetti for lunch. So I hightailed it out of there, which I was already hightailing it out there when she had told me that. But now I'm really hightailing it out of there because a second lunch, trail magic, sign me up. This next section, though, up till then, I hear is quite rocky with a lot of blowdowns. But the good thing about that is usually when I hear those kind of opinions, they're always wrong. You know? Some people are just negative by nature. Some people are positive by nature. I mean, is there obstacles out here? Yes. Is there tougher sections? Yes. I don't like to fixate on those things, though, because I find out a lot of times when you're planning on something being worse than what it is, it makes it worse because it was in your head as worse. Or sometimes it could go the other direction and you make it so bad in your head, you're like, that's it? That's what I was worried about? Either way, it gives you stress that you don't need. So I'm going to continue on these next 3 or 4 miles and hopefully it's not too bad, but whatever it is, going to push through it. But then hopefully they'll still be there and I'll get some spaghetti. Ooh. It's not too awfully bad, but it's still a nuisance. Rocks all go in different directions, so your foot slides in, out. Definitely have to be careful with your ankles. But then it gets a little reprieve, and then the rocks come back. There are some blowdowns, but it hasn't been too awfully bad. Pretty easy to navigate around them in this section. I definitely have seen worse on the trail. Especially after Chestnut Ridge, after you get down, and probably for the next 10, 15 miles after that. A lot of blowdowns, a lot of navigating around things. It was fun, actually, at first, and then it becomes not fun. And it just becomes annoying because you can't get any pace going. And it's kind of like that here. Not as bad, but here it's the rocks that are kind of more annoying because they're just going every which direction. And sometimes you step on that one that's loose and turns your ankle in, or you step in the leaves and find out that, oh, that sinks way down, or there's a jagged rock underneath those leaves. Just got to be careful, and it slows you down, but part of the journey, part of getting to the top of the next mountain. Here's a 360 view of what this top of the ridge looks like right now. Quite flat. I think it's about 600 or 700 feet of elevation, but it was, just gradually going up and climbing up rocks every once in a while. But for the most part, it's nothing steep on this part. Just a lot of rocks. A lot of rocks. A few blowdowns, but a lot of rocks. This particular part right here does not have any. And maybe I'm going to get a reprieve now, which I will not complain about. About a mile away from the road where I hear there's spaghetti. I'm hoping there still is. But if there's not, there's not. I'm not entitled. It's not owed to me. But I will be thankful if it's there. Just as I'm thankful for all the trail magic that I've ran into across the trail so far. It always comes at the best and most needed times. So if it's there, it's probably because I needed it. Or some other hikers needed it. The trail always provides. And here is, I believe it's called Mountaintop Road. But there's the Trail Magic, and that is Fresh Grounds, my friend. This will be the 4th time I've ran into him on the trail, providing trail magic to the hikers. What an awesome service he does. Thank you to Fresh Ground. Now I'm gonna go get me some spaghetti. Trail goes that way. But up here is a little spur trail to the top of something called Windrock. Tall cliff. Supposed to have some great views. Let's check it out. Oh, wow, this would be a nice place to camp right here. But I got a lot more miles to go today. Oh yeah, it's pretty nice. Gorgeous. So after eating 2 plates of spaghetti, 2 pieces of garlic bread, Gatorade, and coffee from Fresh Grounds, beautiful trail magic. Once again, the right place at the right time. My 4th time of seeing him out here. Now I'm standing on top of Windrock. And Windrock, ladies and gentlemen, is in the bag. About 14 miles in for the day so far. Right now the trail isn't too bad, a little bit cruisy. Not really going up, not really going down. Rocks, but very minimal. Not like the big I don't know, big type of rocks that you have to step on and kind of maneuver around to where, you know, they're uneven or sharp or anything like that. I'll just show it to you. Just these kind of rocks right now, not too bad. So the trail's in pretty good shape, not too many blowdowns lately. Ever since pretty much I crossed the road where the Trail Magic was from Fresh Grounds. The next 4 miles is only 150 up and about 1,800 down. So that should go pretty good unless the trail gets, you know, rough at some point. So that's good. There's a shelter there, and I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I can always change my mind, but as of right now, it just seems way too early to stop there. And too few miles, only 18 miles if I did that, or 18 and a half. I want to go further than that, so I'll probably keep going, especially since I had those 2 plates of spaghetti. A lot of carbs in me right now, a lot of energy, so I'm probably going to go past that to, there's some tent sites on down from there, or up from there. I guess the trail starts going up after that point. And then there's another shelter, another 6 or 7 miles past that. So I don't know which way I'm going to do it yet, but you know, I never do. I just play it by ear, and when it's time to decide, I decide. But as you can see, the terrain is pretty nice here. Not really too many blowdowns anywhere. Really kind of flat in all directions, because I'm at the top of a ridge here at this point. Keep thinking I'm going to see some wildlife, but none yet today. It's an epic day yesterday. Apparently that was where they all wanted to congregate in that area. 12 deer, 6 goats, and 1 fortune. But yeah, I haven't seen anything yet today. Still early. I don't know what time it is, to be honest, but I think it's like 3 at this point, so. They're out here somewhere. I don't know if I'll see them today, though. But continuing on and taking the trail and what it gives us. Let's see what's next. You know, I love all available water on the trail. Hydration is a very big thing out here, especially when you're sweating and pushing up mountains and putting in high miles. Very important. But my favorite are the springs. I love the looks of the creeks. I love the rocks and the beauty of it flowing and the waterfalls. But I love getting the water from these beautiful springs. It might be in my head, I don't know, but they're always just so refreshing. So time to filter a couple liters up. So I'm here in my tent at the shelter. Stopped a little bit shy of where I was going to go. I was about 20 miles today. I was going to go a little further, but wanted to set up and kind of get a plan together because I'm getting ready to get close to the Triple Crown of Virginia, which I'll explain more of that on tomorrow's video. But I wanted to do a little planning and kind of see where I need to get tomorrow. I'm going to have a real early start. Big plans over the next couple days. So keep watching. Have a good night.